Welcome back. Another episode of Quad Cooking. Thanks for returning. Also like to say thank you to the new subscribers. Much appreciated. So tonight what we're going to be doing is we're going to portray my handicap accessible kitchen. So I've had, of course, had a few requests or a few questions on what accommodations I use for the kitchen. So I am going to take you on a step-by-step basis on how my kitchen is accessible and what things I've done to allow for that accommodation. My kitchen is about 20 years old, so there are a lot of new innovations that are offered. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of those new innovations, but still gonna go through a step-by-step structure on what accommodations I do have, and we'll see what those things are to make it easier for me to do the cooking that I do. So without further ado, we'll go into that. One quick thing that I just wanted to note was, what do you guys think of the new digs? Amazon can make anybody look like a professional for 25 bucks. So hope you like it. Comment below and let me know what you think of the chef shirt, even though I'm not a professional chef. So the first accommodation that I have within regards to my kitchen is I have a lot of room to move around in the wheelchair. So it's not an island, I have a peninsula. So there is a section that comes off the wall, and then because of that, it is, as you see, it's far back enough where the wall is recessed for the refrigerator or what have you. But as you can see, I do have quite a bit of room that I can move around and do the things that I want to do. Now, when there's multiple people in the kitchen, that does make it a little difficult, but there definitely is enough room for somebody in a wheelchair to move around frequently and without any mobility issues of running into things or what have you. So the first thing that you'll notice is in my kitchen, underneath the sink, there's no cabinet. It's all cut out so that I'm able to move freely up to the sink itself. And then also too, as far as the sink, you'll also notice that the sink has been recessed where it's down a few inches from the normal height of the countertops. So then I have this cutting board that I use to allow for more of a surface area for cutting purposes, what have you. And then, like I said, I can actually, as you see, I can move underneath the sink to actually get closer. Otherwise, my feet are in the way from the wheelchair. I do have, on the back side of the kitchen here next to the refrigerator, another cutout where I'm able to get closer to the microwave because there's no cabinet or what have you underneath. In addition to having this cutout here underneath the microwave, I do have a tray that's on wheels, and I'm able to move the tray around if I need to put something on it. And then I also have this sticky mat on it to allow for things to not slip off. Now, as far as the counter space that I do have quite a bit of counter space, as you'll see, but because of my height in the chair, I'm only 4 feet tall approximately in the chair. When I use the counter space, there becomes a problem. I'm not able to utilize the entire counter space. I can only utilize basically this front piece of the counter. Otherwise, I can't reach the stuff that I put on the counter. In my kitchen, I do have a lot of cabinet space, but as I've already explained, I'm only approximately 4 feet tall, so I'm not able to actually utilize any of this cabinet space. So all of my stuff that I utilize is in these 3 drawers that I have down here, and I'll go through the 3 drawers. And then I also have essentially 2 Lazy Susans on either side of the stove as well. Here is one of the, it's not necessarily a Lazy Susan, but here is one of the cabinet structures that I have that opens, and it's on a double hinge here so that it opens up even wider, and then it allows me to store all the things that I need for cooking purposes. Next would be the oven that I use. I do use an electronic range, and as far as the range itself, you will see that there are the dials in the front. That way that I'm actually able to reach them. And then as far as the stove itself, the stove does actually open typical, but there are new stoves that actually have the hinges essentially on the side where it opens like a refrigerator, and that way it would be a little easier. But because of the accessible room that I have in the kitchen, it allows me to easily open up the stove. On the right side of the stove, I have these 3 drawers, and these 3 drawers are what I use most frequently. On the top, I just have all of my silverware. The second drawer, as you'll see, is I have a bunch of plates and a few odds and ends in there that I utilize. Close that so you can see. Then as far as the last one, I put all of my cups and cooking utensils as far as you know, the tools that are used and what have you. So next to that, of course, is, as I mentioned, this is actually a Lazy Susan, and in here I have all of my spices, various things that are used, the oils, Pam, extra virgin olive oil, what have you. But all of the spices, what have you, I use in the Lazy Susan, so that makes it accessible for me, so I don't have to reach into a cabinet. Then as far as my refrigerator, the refrigerator specifically is I don't know what they call it exactly, but the freezer's on the left and the refrigerator's on the right. I couldn't necessarily use a refrigerator that had the top and the bottom because I can't reach the top of the refrigerator or the top portion. So this way, opening the freezer and the refrigerator, I can still open them both at the same time, and the doors don't get in the way, and I am able to then essentially reach the things that I need. And even here, you know, the top shelf is accessible to me because of the ice maker. But as far as within the refrigerator, I can't actually reach that top shelf. So I don't really put anything up there, of course. And last but not least is my dishwasher. So because of the accessible room that I have after the peninsula, I am able to completely open and close the dishwasher, and it doesn't get in my way whatsoever. Another quick example of the dishwasher. As you can see, the dishwasher is completely open. I'm able to get to both trays again without having any difficulties because of the wheelchair. And then when the dishwasher is completely open, as you can see, is I can actually get completely by the dishwasher as well if I need to get to somewhere else inside the kitchen. So there you have it, a little simplistic explanation of my accessible kitchen. It doesn't have too many accessible accommodations, but there's a few. Of course, the biggest ones are the recessed sink and then the open areas that allow me to wheel underneath. But thanks again for joining me, and I hope you join me on the next episode, because we will be making some killer spinach dip. So stay tuned for that episode and hope you guys have a great evening. Take care.